Hey YouTube family, welcome back to the channel. My name is Motors and that's my Jeep Next. We're out here today just for a quick video to give you a 50,000 mile update. I tell you what, this Jeep has been amazing. I have been all the way across the country, almost, from Las Vegas to Louisiana and back, and did some trails and stuff along the way. But it's been just a great vehicle. It just hit 50,000 last weekend. And I tell you what, I have been super impressed because, you know, a lot of the people online will tell you that American products or the Jeep products are always going to be in the shop. This one, knock on wood or rocks or whatever I can find around here, this one has never had to spend one night in the shop. So I've been impressed. I haven't had any major problems with it. You know, a couple of little electrical things that end up fixing themselves overnight. Amazingly, I don't know how they do that, but you know, if you get a blue screen of death, which is what I like to call it, on my stereo, or a backup camera not coming on or something like that, it seems to fix itself. So I'm just going to show you around the Jeep. I don't have any complaints. It's been great. If you've been following along the channel, you've seen the upgrades and the things that we've done. So I'll just kind of show you around the Jeep a little bit, show you some of the things that we've done, and we'll keep this thing moving. So let's go. All right, so as you can see, one of the first things that we did was add the wheels and tires. Those are 35-inch tires on 17-inch rims. This vehicle, being a Sahara, came with, I think, 19-inch wheels. And of course, I knew I was going to do a little off-roading, so I needed to get some clearance there and a little bit better suspension. So we installed the Rubicon suspension. We then went for the sway lock disconnect up front for the sway bar, which I tell you what, I can't believe all I have to do is get out and flip that switch. So that works great. If you haven't seen that, we'll see if I can get that in there and show you. This lever here, that's all I have to do to turn it on and off. So works great. Then of course we did the winch, which has got me out of a couple of really tight jams. That's a Warren VR Evo. It's a 12,000 pound winch. It's been great. A Warren stubby bumper crawler. I wanted something to make sure I still had the clearance in front of the tires. And I also did not want to lose my factory fog lights. So that's why I ended up mounting the winch on top of the bumper. But it's worked out just fine. Then coming along the side here, we've got American Adventure Lab front turn signals. Those are what allowed me to get that extra fender clearance, because I ended up having to cut that trim, the factory trim, off the edges of the fenders to make sure I got the tires to stuff up inside if I needed to. Of course, then you'll see my off-road lights. Just got a couple of clearance or ditch lights, and then a 50-inch light bar. That's a blackout series. Just trying to keep it simple. Those things cast plenty of light when I'm off-road. I do want to end up getting some different lights eventually along the back, or I'm sorry, on the sides, just for help with camping and setting up camp. But that'll come. Then here you will see, as a couple of the videos I did after we added the rooftop tent, I needed something to help me get a little higher to reach everything up there, and we put the hinge steps from Titan Off-Road. These things are amazing. I did quite a bit of research looking for which ones I wanted, and I found these. And I like these because you get two options for how high you might want to get on top of your Jeep. So amazing products. So if you haven't seen those before, check them out at Titan Off-Road LLC, and they'll get you squared away. Nothing too fancy around the back. Since we opted for the 35-inch tires, I wanted to make sure I had the clearance for that tire above my rear bumper, and we went with a Rough Country spare tire relocator. I think it raised it an inch or two. Pretty easy install. I've got a video on that as well, so you can check that out if you need to. Around the back, we've just got I believe a 30-inch light bar. That's also Rough Country, matches the front. One thing I like about this one is it has the what they use as daytime running lights, little center lights between each LED. Since I mounted this on the back, I ended up hooking that to my reverse light. So because the reverse lights, the factory reverse lights, don't really give you any real light by any means. So when my reverse lights kick on, those lights kick on back here just to give me that extra light that I need. And then of course I've got the dedicated switch to turn them on full power. All right, and then you'll see that we've got the Max tracks mounted up front. I ended up making a special mount bracket for those. My first set of tracks were by Treads, and they were a little bit lower profile, and I did have those stored underneath the tent side by side, but these new ones here by Max Tracks, they're a little bit taller, so they wouldn't fit, so I had to make a special bracket. We'll zoom in a little closer here to show you what we did there. Alright, so yeah, it's pretty basic, just a 1 inch wide thick piece of metal that I cut to size, drilled some holes, painted it black, and seems to work out great. That metal is so thick the tracks do not move at highway speeds, so that works out. You'll also notice, if I can get a closer view here, the mounts or quick disconnects for the tent. Those things have really helped out. When I put this thing on and tried to just mount it to the standard rails and the connection mounts that you get to the cross supports of the rack, you know, I can't get my hand underneath there, so it was almost impossible to make that work. And while I was waiting on these disconnects to come, I ended up taking a couple of the rails off, mounting them to the tent, then putting the tent back on and putting the cross rails back on. Didn't want to have to do that every time I wanted to move, take the tent off. So those are awesome. There's a video a little bit that shows how those work as well. All right, moving to the inside, we've got the Garmin InReach Mini, which is an amazing product. I do have to pay a bit of a subscription monthly to have unlimited text, so I can send a text to anybody to let them know what's going on along my route. Midland radio, of course my iPhone, and then what's nice about the InReach Mini is I have a 12-inch iPad Pro that I use for my regular work, but it does come in handy on the trails. And what's interesting about this is that it took me a while to figure it out, was because this is a Wi-Fi only iPad, I was able to find out that I could get the Garmin to provide offline signal, so I can watch the trails quite a bit larger. So it does kind of get behind the steering wheel, but I just keep the trails, you know, that I'm following along right there in the front of me. So it doesn't get in the way of my windshield at all, because I'm tall enough that I can kind of see over everything. But that has been a great addition to my off-road fun. So And when I'm not off-road, I just flip that iPad holder upside down so it doesn't get too high above the dash there, and I just leave it there. And all of this up front here is mounted to the 67 design rack, and I've got GoPro mounts and things like that, so works out great. And on my wife's side, I do have a phone mount for her, where she mounts her phone to the grab bar there, and that's by Mob Armor. So the only two problems that I've noticed on the interior has been this driver's window switch. The rubberized coating is starting to come off, so I'll have to see about getting that replaced or see what's going on with that. And then the other issue, let me just get my camera up here. The only other issue I've noticed, which this just happened last weekend, is if I take the visor down, it's coming out. Something's broken up in that hinge. I'm not sure what's happening there. I will have to get that addressed because I don't like that dangling there, but that's been the only problem I've had on the interior. Okay, so around back we have the DIY tailgate table. Made this, you'll see one of the videos on that. That thing cost me $50 to make, and it has been worth every penny and more. It's great, so no problems there. And then I didn't do a video on this, but I did make a storage cabinet because all of my recovery gear and tools and things like that were just kind of rolling around in the trunk, and I needed something to keep things organized a little bit, as well as still have room for my fridge. So this is a Bose RV fridge. It's like a 53 quart. It's worked out perfect. So that's that. We'll move that out of the way here in a sec. And as you can see here, these are the support brackets. I had to drill holes through my roof, of course. Support brackets for the roof rack. I do keep a axe handy. You never know, since I don't always want to carry a chainsaw, I always have a little something to help cut some wood or clear a trail. And then of course a little bit of safety equipment with the fire extinguisher and the quick disconnect. We've got a pack that carries everything. We've got some medical equipment in there, eating utensils, knives, forks, spoons. I mean, there's probably 50 items in there. That works great. Keep a battery jump box in there, and that's it pretty much. Let me move a couple things around so I can show you the rest. Alright, so with the refrigerator moved out of the way, you can see that I use a Jackery. It's actually spun around the other way. That's a Jackery 500. Need a bit bigger one if anybody wants to hook a brother up. I'm always open for discounts and things. We've got a ARB twin air compressor. I did replace the factory filter set with those other filters there because I do like to take my top off, and those didn't seem like they were very secure, and I thought they might, the lid might flip off of them. So I keep a spare single hose for airing up individual tires, and then inside my tool chest, I guess, storage bin, I've got a 4 air up system, hose system that I use. I typically get all of my tires aired up in about 4 minutes. Ratchet straps, tools, recovery gear, and that's pretty much it back here. So, all right, the last thing that we did, which I almost forgot to show you, was the front-facing camera. That's from Taser. since I have the mini JL Taser, that allows me to hit the switch and see what's in front of me. And I had to relocate that taser. I'm sorry, I had to relocate the camera because they want you to put it up in the upper center grill panel. But that was going to basically show me the back of the winch and the bull bar. So had to come up with a way to mount that a little different. Works out. I'll eventually change that and make it a cleaner install, but it works perfect. And this is the view that I get when I'm inside. That's reverse. Of course, you get the factory sight lines there. And then once I hooked it up, I got the additional button there that allows me to turn the front camera on. One thing that I noticed that it doesn't do, you don't get the tire track lines. So basically I had to line mine up so that I know when my left front tire, of course, is going to run right into this corner, and my right front tire is just over on this edge. But this thing works out great. It's not as clear as the back camera. I believe it's like a 720 or something like that, but I can't complain about it because it lets me see over some crazy crest and what I'm coming up on. So that's been a great addition. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. This has been a great vehicle. I know that I'm going to have a lot more things that I'm going to want to do to it eventually. Running boards and, maybe a lift at some point. But for now, it's the perfect vehicle for me. So, hey, if you like what you see, click and subscribe. Tell your friends about me. Hey, and don't forget, get out there and get you a Jeep if you don't have one. If you got it, keep it. All right, we'll see you next time.